All right. So, good afternoon to everyone. I'm Grace Santos. I'm one of the experts supporting ACEBA under the EU Switch Asia program. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar entitled Circular Economy and Business for a Sustainable Cebu. So this webinar is co-hosted by the ASEAN Circular Economy Business Alliance, or ASEBA, and the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, with support from the EU Switch Asia Policy Support Component. So before we begin the webinar, just a few housekeeping and webinar protocols. So for all our participants, please keep your microphones muted to avoid audio interference, especially during the panels and during the panelist presentations. A recording of this webinar will be available to all participants after the webinar. For longer questions, if you have longer questions, you can send to us via email at the end of the webinar should you have any inquiries after. During our sessions and our panels, you can send in your questions via the chat box, the Zoom chat box, or in the general chat. And we will entertain some questions from our audience during the Q&A, the moderated Q&A for each panel. If you would like to speak, you can raise your hand and we will acknowledge you when we have time, if we have time during our panels. So just a quick run through of or overview of our webinar program. So we will have opening remarks from our host organizations, ACEBA and the CCCI. Then we'll have a presentation on the circular economy. Afterwards, we'll show a short video of ACEBA on business of for circular economy in Southeast Asia. So these are the case studies that have been documented by ACEBA over the past couple of years. Then we'll have two panels. The first one being the policy and action by city governments and existing support mechanisms panel. Then the second panel will be experience sharing among selected companies practicing circular economy in the Philippines. Then we'll have a short reflection and ways forward session, and then we'll have the closing remarks. So let's start. So to give us to give the opening remarks on behalf of ACEBA, may we now call on Mr. Thomas, co-convener of ACEBA, chairman of ARIBA STN BHD, and senior expert EU Switch Asia PSC.
Thank you, Grace, and good afternoon. And if anybody is visiting, viewing this webinar in other time zones, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of you. Welcome. I first want to acknowledge that the Mayor of Cebu, Mayor Nestor Archibald, we managed to contact the Honorable Councillor of the City of Mandaue, Councillor Joel Seno, the Treasurer of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Adi Grecia, and all the speakers, panelists, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start out with a sad note that it's unfortunate that President J. Juarez of the Cebu Chamber is not able to join us today, as his father just passed away this morning. On behalf of all our colleagues and all of us here, I wish to express my deepest condolences and sympathies to the family, and we all pray that the good Lord will comfort them, all of them. And I also want to thank Adi for being kind enough to step in at very short notice. Thank you very much as well. I'm also very heartened with the good attendance at this seminar. I'm also particularly heartened that the two mayors of Cebu City has accepted our invitation, although they have last-minute engagements, but they are still trying to contact our Councillor Joel is representing Mandau City. It's quite heartening to note that. I want to quote the Nobel Prize-winning economist Amartya Sen, who said, I quote, in the invisible hand of the market often relied on the visible hand of the government. The invisible hand of the market has often relied on the visible hand of the government, unquote. Basically, it's governments and politicians who have to take the lead, and they, because they are responsible for the well-being of all citizens, which include business people, workers, civil society, and just everybody at all structures of society. So many of the initiatives in many countries, in many societies, fail because of the lack of political will. I am sure in this case and the Philippines and these examples we're seeing, there will not be a lack of political will, especially when I read about the two mayors, their backgrounds, and the initiatives for their cities. It's just heartening that the most important ingredient for success, political will be that. So I wish you great success in your important work. And I also want to thank the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry for taking the lead as our country lead for the Philippines and ACEBA, the ASEAN Circular Economy Business Alliance. Businesses have to be profitable to survive. If they are not profitable, they can't. But in order to thrive and be more successful, they need to have a purpose which boils down to contributing to the well-being of society. Because when you contribute to well-being society, you create a demand for what you're doing. And which goes far beyond just profit maximization to value maximization for all stakeholders. And circular economy holds the prospect of a better life and better living conditions for all citizens, better business outcomes for business leaders. And you get this while addressing the triple planetary crises of climate change, pollution, loss of nature, and biodiversity. This crisis needs all of us to work together to achieve our desired goals. Today, I am very happy that this webinar will give us the opportunity to learn about how business organizations like the Eurocham and others, as well as individual businesses, adopt circular economy practices and address the triple planetary crisis. Finally, I also want to just thank all of you who have contributed to this success. Particularly, I want to thank Joy, the Executive Director of Cebu Chamber, and the team, Mary Grace Santos, whom you heard just now. She's the ACEBA expert for the Philippines, my colleagues with Future Asia, all of you, the speakers, panelists, and most important, all the participants who have dialed up to listen for it. Let's learn the lessons. Let's contribute to the contribution, to contribute to the conversation, and let's all work together to get what is the right outcomes. Thank you very much, and pass over to you, Grace.
Thank you, Thomas. And to hear from our co-host, the CCCI, may we have Mr. Aldi Garcia, Treasurer of the Board and AVP for Business Advocacy and Policy of the CCCI, and he's also the Vice Chairman and Assurance Managing Partner of PwC Isla Lapana and Company. Hello, Mr. Aldi Garcia.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you, Thomas. I'm standing in, as mentioned by Thomas, on behalf of our president for Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, President J.U. Valios, who unfortunately cannot join us this afternoon because of a very unfortunate event in the family this morning. But to all our participants joining us from across the Philippines, Southeast Asia, and beyond, a very good afternoon, everyone. It is my privileged to welcome you to this webinar on circular economy and business for a sustainable Cebu, a joint initiative between the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the ASEAN Circular Economy Business Alliance, or ACEBA. To our esteemed speakers, panelists, government officials, business leaders, sustainability advocates, and all participants who took the time to join us this afternoon, salamat kayo and welcome to this webinar. Today marks a pivotal moment in Cebu's sustainability journey. We are not merely hosting another webinar, we are convening a critical conversation about the future of business and environmental stewardship of our beloved province. As we gather virtually, we acknowledge that the challenges we face, from climate change, resource scarcity, waste management, and environmental degradation, are real, urgent, and require immediate collaborative action from all sectors of our society. Cebu has always been at the forefront of progressive initiatives, and sustainability is no exception. Our provincial and city governments have demonstrated remarkable commitment through pioneering ordinances and programs. The Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry stands proud as the country lead for the Philippines in the ASEAN Circular Economy Business Alliance. This role places us at the epicenter of circular economy transformation, not only in Asia, but also specifically in Cebu and the Philippines. Our commitment goes beyond advocacy. We actively support policies like the Extended Producers Responsibility Act, champion waste reduction targets, and advocate for incentives that encourage businesses to adopt business models that are not only sustainable but also circular. We believe that responsible business practices and profitability are not mutually exclusive. They are mutually reinforcing. Today's webinar addresses a fundamental shift in how we conceptualize business operations. The circular economy offers us a pathway to transform linear take-make waste business models and turn it into regenerative systems that minimize resource input and waste output while maximizing value creation. For businesses, and especially speaking on behalf of our member businesses in Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, this transition represents more than just an environmental responsibility. It represents a significant economic opportunity. Through circular economy practices, companies can achieve cost savings, discover new revenue streams, and enhance operational resilience to future-proof their operations against resource constraints. This webinar builds upon the successful introductory workshop we facilitated back in February of this year. Today, this afternoon, we deepen our exploration of practical opportunities and address critical challenges for business leadership in circular economy implementation. This is an interactive webinar. We encourage you to engage actively through the Q&A sessions, share your experiences in the chat box, and connect with our fellow participants. Your perspectives and questions will enrich our collective learning experience. Our vision is clear: to position Cebu as a circular economy exemplar in Southeast Asia, where businesses thrive while regenerating our environment, where economic growth and ecological health advance together, and where sustainability becomes the foundation of our competitive advantage. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the EU Switch Asia Policy Support Component for their invaluable support to ACEBA, and also to ACEBA for their partnership and regional expertise. To all our speakers and panelists who will share their knowledge and experiences today, thank you for taking the time this afternoon. Special recognition, of course, goes to our government partners, including the mayors and officials who will share their policy perspectives, and to the businesses that will demonstrate practical circular economy implementation. As we begin this very important conversation, I invite you to approach today's sessions with open minds, collaborative spirits, and actionable intentions. Let us use this opportunity not just to learn, but to commit to concrete steps towards circular economy implementation in our beloved city, in our beloved province of Cebu, and in our beloved country, and as it extends to our participation in Southeast Asia and the world. Welcome once again to this transformative webinar. Let's make use of the next 2 hours, a very productive and fruitful afternoon to advance our sustainable future. Thank you very much. Dagang salamat. Padayon Cebu.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Aldi Garcia. Now we move on to the presentation of one of our senior experts, Dr. Renee Van Berkel, co-convener of ACEBA, senior expert of EU Switch Asia PSC, and faculty at the Thammasat University. He will be speaking on the circular economy as a business leadership opportunity for locally appropriate sustainability solutions. Dr. Renee Van Berkel, go ahead.
He has been thrown out, I think.
Really?
Of the NIDA, and they are both thrown out of things. So why don't we do the video and then we try and get them back?
All right, no worries.
Thank you.
So before the presentation of Dr. Van Berkel, we'll just show first the ACEBA video. Lorraine, we can't hear the audio.
We all share one planet that supports our lives. Clean air, water, food, and a habitable climate are at risk due to the overconsumption of materials. Some businesses are addressing this challenge by adopting circular and low-carbon solutions. Supplying local premium water in refillable glass bottles avoids the energy use of shipping water globally, prevents plastic pollution, and rewards local communities for their water stewardship. Turning rice husk into biochar for agricultural use regenerates the soil and minimizes the need for chemical fertilizers and energy for irrigation. Connecting factories so that the waste from one industry is used as raw material for another industry. Adopting advanced technology and digitalization to conserve energy, minimize fabric waste, and turn waste fabric into new fabric. Making premium mattresses affordable with a subscription service that guarantees recycling and material recovery at the end of their life. By changing the way things are designed, produced, consumed, and returned for repeat use, we switch to a circular economy where natural systems are regenerated. Southeast Asia is home to 70 million businesses. Some are taking action, yet more are needed for the circular economy transition. Play your part. Share your business story. Learn what companies in Southeast Asia are already doing.
Thank you, Lorraine. So that shows the number of case studies, the CE case studies that ACEBA has been documenting over the past few years, and we hope to document more cases from the Philippines as we move forward. So again, let me introduce Dr. Renee Van Berkel, Senior Expert, EU Switch Asia PSC, co-convener of ACEBA and faculty of Thammasat University, to present on the circular economy as a business leadership opportunity for locally appropriate sustainability solutions. Renee? Is he back?
Yes. Yeah, I thought he's in.
Okay, so let's just wait for him to come in. I think he has been logged out of Zoom. Hello?
Oh, they're off again. Okay, while we try, maybe I'll try and do their presentation
Oh, okay.
very inadequately. Okay, just give me a second.
No worries, Thomas. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, shall we get his I'll get his presentation. Can you see the slides?
Yes, Thomas,
Okay.
we can see it.
Okay, this is Renee's slides and his presentation. I'll try and say a little bit to him because he is trying to get in, and the moment he gets in, he will carry on and say something. So I'll briefly touch on some of the key points of his presentation. I think the first one is the circular economy is on the regional agenda, is part of ASEAN. And in 2021, ASEAN came out with a framework for circular economy for the ASEAN Economic Community. This framework has got some strategic goals, some guiding principles, 6 guiding principles, and 5 strategic priorities. So I think this has been, just give me a second. Okay, this has been part of it. But the key one is I like to look at the 3 strategic goals that it came up. That you need a resilient economy. We also need, sorry, I show my face as well, and resource efficiency and sustainable growth. This has been quite clear, and this is also part of a real circular economy that we are promoting. And sorry, it doesn't seem to move. Okay, the other point is that this is not just 21. I mean, the circular economy initiative in ASEAN did not just start with that framework. It has been part of it, as in 2020 or 17 was in Laos, Indonesia had it, Thailand 2021 talked about biocircularity, and in 2021 Cambodia had some framework for it, and Indonesia last year, and as well as the other countries, Malaysia had a framework, and we think this year might be Vietnam, and also the Philippines should have it. So all the ASEAN countries are also moving towards the circular economy in the regional framework. Then, what is this circular economy? It's actually, as Grace said, sorry, I must also say, if Renee is in, please take over. Okay. Move from the circular, make use, throw away, linear product circularity into the consumption model, that we try and recover and repeat the recovery process. This means that you move from reduce, reuse cycle, which you're all aware of things, to a cycle that you just go linear, and instead of things going to the landfill, you recover and almost have a circular economy that keeps the loop going and on and on and on. That's the idea. And it goes on to the other model, which is about not making new things. So that's called refuse here. And rethink circularity is making things in a different way, circular sourcing. And also to make things last longer, so there is no need to have new stuff, which cause and also having circular resources around the economy, and finally recovering resources from the end of life. So instead of recovering energy, remine, extracting resources from landfills and other. So one important point that we want to do is circular economy is not recycling. It's beyond recycling economy. So when you talk circularity, there are about 4 schools of thought. The first one, this is a paper written by Rene, so he would have explained it further. The first one is about the ecosystem, using nature. You can see this butterfly diagram of recycling and using. This we can go later on to use. And then there's a precautionary principle, which is always in all environmental positions, that you try to prevent any potential risk. And then there is this model of creation, value, retaining. So you try and keep this loop of flow. And finally, decoupling the economic well-being from the impact of environment. So these are just some of the points. And so circular economy sounds good, but there are threats and opportunities of it. So what are those threats? The circular economy here, we have looked at it, we have looked at the purpose, what's the scope of it, rationale. And this is what ACEBA did, and the relevance, these 5 points. And these 5 threats and opportunities we address through the 5 guiding principles for business action in circular economy in ASEAN. This was done after we had intensive engagement with businesses throughout ASEAN, not throughout most of the countries. And we also went to the Philippines. We had a session in Manila, and many of you were there, where we set the 5 principles for net zero for climate, nature, and environment. That should be a goal. And also resource circularity, efficiency substitution, which means that we use to close natural resource loops by design. Very clearly, responsible business, where it involves businesses taking responsibilities for the impact on environment and society of materials, other natural resources that is required throughout the life cycle of its products and services. And then we talked about idealization and co-creation, where you idealize and co-create to create value for those things. And the net value must, CE must really bring about change and impact and risk for unsustainable use of environment resources. Okay, that is the idea. So we had actually done some case studies, and there are levels of case studies which shows that you have we have 80, we're still counting from circles and more to cover. And I think we have showed video on some of them. Okay, we have an example of in Philippines, Pico Sands Hotels, which talks about sustainable things. We have precious plastic, also from Philippines, which use appropriate technology for very small scale plastic recycling. We have repurposing of the garments and textiles industry. So then we have case of HOSIM, which actually talks about alternate cement blends with 20 to 30% savings by using resource circularity, looking at alternate materials, recovering VTC, recovering waste heat, and also closed water systems. So there's a lot of circularity and efficient use of energy and water in the plant, and finally, resource substitution. So all this has also meant that it has not only given us alternative greenhouse gas reduction of 20 to 30%, 80% reduction in fossil fuel, and also increase in plant capacity. And you know, when the cost is reduced, and your profit margin will go up. And so let me just introduce you now to our ASEAN circular economy. This is an ASEAN-centric business-led initiative in support of the regional circular economy transition, which contributed to the 2021 ASEAN circular economy framework and the national strategies of all the ASEAN. It was launched about a year ago in Jakarta. You can see this photograph. That pretty lady there is Zinaida, the team leader of Switch, and beside her is Rene, who has got a better voice than me, and it's me with a bald head shining, and this is the EU ambassador to ASEAN. We got the support of the ASEAN Secretariat ASEAN Business Advisory Council, at a time with the support of Gil Gonzalez and the Coordinating Committee for MSMEs and the EU delegation. So this also became an initiative of the ASEAN AREBA Sindikat Berhad, which is registered as a company, as a non-profit, which promotes and facilitates responsible, inclusive business in ASEAN. AREBA is also with the ASEAN Business Advisory Council as their responsible and inclusive business champion, and we work with national and regional membership, business membership. So in February, we had a MOU signed with the Cebu Chamber of Commerce to be the country lead for the Philippines. And what it basically asks is companies to pledge to lead by example to adopt circular economy. So what we will give you is visibility and a view. And ACEBA, what we do is document and showcases good business practices, which some of it will be shown there, and as well as to facilitate learning and sharing among companies and to promote operational tools and metrics that are appropriate to the ASEAN region relevant. So it's very business-centric, it's also ASEAN-centric. So, and we hope that you can all join us and make more of those to come in. So with that short presentation, I think I tried to do some justice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for that impromptu, but very well done presentation. So thank you again for, stepping in for Renee. So we go to our panel. So as I would like to introduce to you the moderator of our first panel, Mr. Gil Gonzalez, another co-convener of ACEBA. Panel 1 is on sustainability and circularity, policy and strategic actions by city governments and existing support mechanisms. In this panel, we are joined by 4 panelists, and we are honored to have this afternoon with us the Mayor of Cebu City, Mayor Nestor Arquival. We also have Councilor Joel Seno of Mandaue City. Also with us this afternoon is Marie Maylis Charlotte, Project Lead for Green Business, Infrastructure, and Finance of the Green Economy Partnership Philippines, and Mr. Jerry Constantino, Director for Projects, Events, and Training of the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. So before we do the moderated Q&A, we'll have all 4 panelists present on their CE initiatives. So I'm turning it over to Mr. Gil Gonzalez.
Thank you very much, Grace. And good afternoon to everyone. So it's a real privilege to be part of the webinar this afternoon on circular economy. You know, as you were reading out the panelists, you know, it dawned on me that you have put up together a perfect blend of speakers who are zeroing in on cities, who are doing circular economy. We have the Honorable Mayor, of course, who's into execution, who pushes the agenda, who deals with all the stakeholders on CE. And then you have a councillor who empowers the mayor because he is your legislative platform, who provides the ordinances and the directions and so on. So you need complementation from both. And now you have a champion on CE precisely to green transition who's been helping cities all over the Philippines and great experience and can do a lot of benchmarking. And then later on, we have, of course, from the Cebu, from the European Chamber of Commerce, who's been in the Philippines, what, Jerry, for 40 years, my gosh. So precisely doing a lot of good for business and now playing a big role in circular economy. So without further ado, we'd like to go into each one of our panelists, starting off with our Cebu City Mayor, the Honorable Nestor Arquival, who will have a presentation, and then Honorable Mayor, right after your presentation, please give us a very brief introduction of yourself, but more on the question, what is it that made you so passionate on circular economy, since you are a known environmentalist? And then go and proceed to the first question of what exactly is the agenda now of Cebu in pushing circular economy that essentially is the answer to sustainability for not just for big business but for MSMEs. The screen is yours, Mayor.
Go ahead, Mayor Nestor.
Can you hear me and can you see me now?
We can hear you, Mayor, but can you turn on your video?
How about the video? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, salamat, mayong adlaw, and I'm here. I'm just 15 days being a mayor. Okay, now, for the last 18 years, I've been a member of the council of Cebu City. And I've been actually pushing for this environmental protection, sustainability, green economy. But no, I was not able to take off. But in my own personal advocacy, what I'm trying to do is to make a program that could let people see, and then the moment they see, they will follow. So that's why, being a counselor, I constructed my house in Talamban that focuses, that showcases different kinds of environmental initiatives. First, I have a house. Since I'm an electrical engineer, I'm pushing for putting an electrical solar system in my house. Before, as the president of the company, I have a small shop. I have, I'm 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 paying something like 25 pesos a year. And I would like to prove that being an environmental advocate, being green, that would be an advantage. So that's why I put the solar system. And right now, I was able to prove that from 25,000, I don't even pay electrical bills. In fact, I'm giving my the four neighbors, five of these neighbors, give electrical power. The other thing is, we have a problem of garbage. As I would like to mention it to you, that we have about 1 million population in the city. And in that 1 million, we know for a fact that half a kilo of garbage per day, each person is generating. So right now, we have 500,000 kilos of garbage daily. And the other thing is that since we have a lot of universities, we have a lot of national, let us say, departments, or agencies for in Cebu. There's so many people coming to Cebu, and sometimes the population reaches about 1,200,000. So we have an average garbage of 600 tons every day. And for the previous administration, it's sad to say that we're not able to follow what we call as this, 9001. But in my case, in my house, I've tried to prove that being a environmental advocate, you can use garbage as a resource. So I get 3,000 kilos of garbage a day from the market, which is mixed garbage, and we bring it to the house and segregate those. And okay, the uh, the 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 segregated garbage, one is what we call as the plastics or the recyclables, and the other one is the biodegradable. The biodegradable, I feed it to my goats and feed it to my earthworms. So in my goats, I produce goat waste and make something like a biogas digester that converts waste. In fact, my human waste and goat waste is being put into the biogas digester, and the digester actually give us methane gas to cook. Now, now some of the plastics or the plastics which are being segregated, we shred them into pieces and convert this into what we call as plastic aggregates. And these aggregates is used to make hollow blocks and mix it with cement. But 30% of the hollow blocks is actually made of what we call as the plastics. Now, the other thing is um, the moment, the other thing is that the biodegradable, aside from feeding this to the goats, I actually feed this to the worms, and what comes out is what we call as vermicast, and we sell the vermicast by kilo. 1 kilo is about 50 pesos, so this is more expensive than rice. So we can prove that waste can be a resource. Now, the other thing is using the vermicast as a resource. I have my own garden that produces vegetables, and that these vegetables is being used by us. So we actually generate our own food. Now, in these initiatives, being a counselor, and I'm trying to bring this now to a bigger situation, being the mayor right now. So my advocacy is basically towards sustainability and circular economy. Now, I before the end of my term as a counselor, I made a lot of sustainable ordinances, and one of the ordinances that I have um, I have drafted and approved is uh, is putting electrical solar systems in all the buildings that it's being maintained by the city government. Now, as you know, energy is one of the biggest contributor to what we call as the greenhouse gas emissions. And as I will tell you, that we spending a lot of money for energy. It's about near 1 billion pesos that combines the electricity and the fuel cost that the city is actually generating. So the main thrust now in the government is I am asking, of course, the whole management, including the council, that we're going now to put the solar systems in all of the buildings that we are actually maintaining, so that we can bring down the electricity cost, thus bringing down the cost, or bringing down the greenhouse gas emissions that we are actually generating. Now, the other thing that I would like also to share with you, that the electrical the electrical cost per month for street lightings for Cebu City is about 15 million pesos. Now, what we're trying to do now is to convert the 30,000 electric bulbs to solar, and without cost to the city. Meaning to say, we know for a fact that we have 15 million that we are actually paying to the utility company. What we are doing right now is that to change all these electric bulbs into solar without cost to the city. We are going to invite contractors to participate in this program. So that, considering that we have 15 million, we're telling them that, look, if you are going to participate in this program, the savings that we can generate will go to you first until such time that the first cost or the cost that you are putting the system plus the profit, you can have it already, and after that you turn over the system, to us. The other thing is, aside from the electricity and fuel, we are putting focus on what we call as the solid waste management. We want to prove to everyone that we can bring down the cost of the waste management, plus the fact we can use some of this waste into something that's usable. Okay, going back now, I will share to you that the revenue for waste, we call that as garbage revenue for the city. We only collect something like 100 million. But right now, according to the reports that I have received, we spend about 500 to 600 million pesos a year. So you can just see the difference. It's a big deficit, 500 to
Yes,
600
yes.
million a year.
Mayor,
So,
I hope you won't
you won't
mind.
mind.
You have
You have
15
15
seconds to
seconds
wrap
to
up,
wrap
please.
up, please.
okay, so we have this initiative coming from me and being an electrical engineer, being a counselor, and right now as a mayor. So as the mayor, what we're trying to do now is to bring down the greenhouse gas emissions that we are generating in the city from electricity, energy, and waste management. And since my time is only 5 seconds, I would like to share with you that we are focusing on water, we are focusing on flooding and traffic also. So for the meantime, that's what we are doing, and we want to do more to help, protect our environment. And we will have the circular economy too.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Uh,
Uh,
very
Very
rich
rich
sharing
sharing
from your eco house to
to
your
your
risk
risk
management,
management,
which
which
goes
goes
through
through
agricultural
agricultural
and then
and then
later
later
on
on to
to coming up with different uses for waste and even into fertilizer, which we do need very much. We'll get back to you later,
later,
Mayor,
Mayor,
just
just
to
to
get an
get an
idea.
idea,
How do
how do
you
you
make
make
this as
this as
a
a
systemic
systemic
policy
policy
for
for
Cebu, and at
Cebu,
the
and at the
same
same
time,
time,
what are the
what are the
gaps
gaps
where you
where you
think
think
partners
partners
like us
like us
can
can
also help
also
you?
help you?
Thank you very
Thank you very
much,
much,
Mayor.
Mayor.
May we now go to
Um,
our honorable counselor, Mr. Joel. Please go ahead.
Uh, Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you po.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to my co-panelists, the newly elected mayor of the city of Cebu, Mayor Nestor Archival, and to all, mayong hapon. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the mayor of the city of Mandaue, Mayor Tadeo Jovito Ouano, who unfortunately cannot be present now, and I'm filling in for him to, in deference to the invitation as one of the panelists of this webinar. So I was browsing through the invitation, and it may just, if I may, we are tasked to do some a little presentation or an overview of what Mandaue City is doing all these years in promoting an environment which is suitable for all. But I'm just happy to announce that some initiatives, or we had a very good initiative that was initiated several years back. And to give just an overview, a little background to everybody, the city of Mandaue, as we all know, is a highly urbanized first-class city with a growing economy as seen by numerous ongoing constructions in the city. With the city's rapid urbanization and development in the face of climate change, the city has held a long-standing commitment in the leadership of the green building standards, sustainable design and construction practices. and efficient water and other resource conservation and management, and the reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions. Now, in 2015, the city created an ordinance numbered as 13/2015-1047, otherwise known as the Green Building Ordinance of Mandaue City, to address the environmental challenges faced by the city. Now, this ordinance was enacted for the purpose of improving the stability and efficiency of the buildings through the use of natural resources, contributing to the global efforts in reducing greenhouse gas and mobilizing the impact of buildings on health and environment through a green building program. The city of Mandaue then identified and adopted the building for ecologically responsive design excellence, or the BERDE rating certification of the Philippine Green Building Council, as a tool for the effective implementation of the policy. Hence, the BERDE rating certificate system is adopted in full by the city of Mandaue as a component of the Green Building Ordinance. Then in 2017, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, or we all know it's APEC, recognized the city's comprehensive strategy in addressing carbon emissions and awarded the city as a low carbon model town. This project encourages the development of the low carbon communities that affordably reduces energy use and carbon emissions, while at the same time creating pleasant living conditions. The Green Building Ordinance was amended in February 2024 to refine several salient provisions, including the application of the green building incentives. We incentivize this to invite other investors to be more compliant with the ordinance. And as amended, the new ordinance aimed to create an environment for sustainable economic growth and livable society through responsive governance and multi-sectoral involvement. And now the city is an essential step in the city's journey towards sustainable future. And by adopting the rules and regulations adopting the ordinance, the city will ensure that the community remains at the forefront of the green innovation, resilience, and sustainable growth. And with the policy in place, the city government is currently building capacities and developing its regulations to ensure the effective implementation of the regulation. So thank you very much, and that would be all for this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Congratulations to your being an APEC recognized city and awardee for your low carbon model. And in fact, you're having a rating system to gauge and to benchmark everyone. How they figure out in a scoring system is really, really very good initiative. So we'll get back to you later on how do you now replicate this and cover the whole of not just Mandaue and maybe the other adjacent, of course, Cebu is there and so on. But it's good to know they're really spearheading, using a lot of science behind sustainability. And now we go to Mylis. Mylis, please go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. Mayong hapon kaninyong taan. Very nice meeting you all. I'm honored to be in this panel with Mayor Archival. Congratulations for your new role. Also a pleasure to meet you, Councillor Seno, and Jerry, my colleague from the European Chamber. So I am Mylis Charla. I've been a long time in the Philippines. And I have the pleasure to manage a EU-funded program in the Philippines. So I'm going to maybe present to you a couple of slides on it as an introduction. But overall, I actually got passionate of circular economy in Cebu because I have a background as an international lawyer, but I happened to manage a resort in Cebu for 1 year, and waste management for ecotourism was part of the challenges of the hotel. So this is how I got to circular economy for the first time and really wanted to support the Philippines in its transition to green and circular economy. So, pero gamay rang Bisaya, so I will do it full English. And yes, I'm delighted to introduce you the Green Economy Partnership with the Philippines, that we also call the GPP. I won't take too much time. I'm from Expertise France. I'm a project leader. We are part of the French Development Bank in the Philippines. We have several policy loans, and Expertise France is particularly implementing some projects. One of them is this project. It's a 60 million euro EU-funded program. Overall, DNR is the implementing agency, but as you can see, there's a lot of stakeholders. And the first strategic objective is implemented by DNR and GIZ and is focusing on green policies, more particularly on establishing a dialogue platform among all the agencies to enable more national green policies and work on the EPR implementation for the Philippines, but also the National Circular Economy Framework, and have some demonstration projects. So very interesting also objective. I can discuss it more later. And I'll go to maybe the second objective, which is more focusing on green LGUs. So DILG with UNDP have selected some pilot LGUs in the Philippines to deploy a lot of actions that can come to support in enabling local ordinances, but also that can be about engaging some private sector in those LGUs or their community behavior change, and universities with different type of actions among those LGUs. In our side, in Expertise France, we are working hand in hand with our colleague DTI, and we have co-designed some activities that I'll mention quickly, which are co-designed with the Global Green Growth Institute, GDGI, and also IFC. At the bottom, you can see there's a fourth objective, which is more focusing on green energy. And the Department of Energy is in lead of that aspect with IFC, the International Finance Corporation, which is part of the World Bank. It's a 5-year project, which will run until 2028. So this is a recap of what I just presenting. I will skip a little bit the slides because we have only 5 minutes, but all of this will be available for everyone. It's detailing a little bit more on the objectives and the outputs of each SOs, their capacity building actions, policy regulation, all the annual forum. You can go on greeneconomy.ph. It's the platform of the whole program that we launched in May. GIZ is the one who launched it with DNR, and this you will see there all the actions that we'll also work on with ACEBA for the Philippines. So lots of synergies with Switch Asia actually. So for the UNDP side, those are the 10 first LGUs that were selected by the government. There's another batch of 10 LGUs that were selected recently, and we'll start working in August to really enable on some areas a lot of actions when it comes to circular economy at a local level. So really here they want to enhance circular economy practices by the LGUs and their civil society, private sector, the LGU itself. So maybe I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the program I run with my team. So as I mentioned, DTI is our co-lead, and we have 3 pillars of activities. The first one is really aiming to create more eco-enterprises in the Philippines, either by promoting innovation with more startups that will bring alternatives to plastic, for example, refilling systems, any innovation in circular economy, so we have more options in the country. And for that, we launched a grant that is running and that we will announce soon the beneficiary, who will be promoting and supporting some startups in the country. The other one I want you to keep on mind is more on transforming. So we will launch some coalition in the private sector, which will tackle more how to transform some businesses, for example, in tourism or agriculture, how a group of actors can join each other and tackle plastic or organic waste in their value chain. Because most of the time we see that we have a fragmented ecosystem in the Philippines where some private sector don't know where to find the technology to really shift their business models. And the second pillar is more focusing on solid waste management. We are working with the PPP Center, Public-Private Partnership, and we have some funds to finance feasibility studies for LGUs who would like to submit PPPs in solid waste management. We have a training scheduled in September before we select with the PPP Center and the different agencies the 3 pilot projects where we will fund the feasibility study. The idea is to support LGUs to have a longer commitment when it comes to solid waste management for their municipalities through a blended finance with the PPP itself, so that the risk is shared between the private and the public sector. Finally, in the third pillar, GGGI is helping us to design this pillar. It's more focusing on engaging the financial sector. So we are working with BSP and DOF on a circular economy taxonomy. This will help more investors to look at the Philippines with really defined standards when it comes to circular economy and increase their interest to finance locally. We will also support banks to create credit finance facility. We will also create a financing vehicle in few LGUs so that it can finance MSMEs, and also some startup acceleration program. So the fourth objective I mentioned earlier for IFC is they're working on with DOE to look at developing low carbon steel in the Philippines and also deploying more offshore wind with mobilizing investments. So I kept it short, but there's a lots of activities, lots of stakeholders, and I'll be delighted to answer any question. Salamat kayo. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mylis. Well, we have a big plate to cover. You're putting in the ecosystem, bringing in the bilaterals and the multinational to make the ecosystem work. Specifically, what I saw there is how do you fund the transition? And you're providing mentorship and the infrastructure. But one thing later we can discuss is how do you bring the market so that those who go through you, okay, there's an offtake of what they come up with. Now we go to Jerry of the European Chamber. Go ahead, Jerry, please.
Thank you, Hill. Thank you. Are you seeing my slide or not?
Not yet.
Let me try again. There.
All right, there po, we can see it.
Yeah. This way. It's okay. Grace. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hill. And thank you to ACEBA and Cebu Chamber for inviting ECCP to be part of this really very important webinar. And I'm happy to see and to be in the presence of really old friends and colleagues that I've worked with in the past. I'm happy to see that Mr. Archibald is now the mayor and we've worked together in the past. And of course, Mr. Pete Delentar, I've seen him in the audience, and I believe he's going to be one of the speakers later. Also to Councilor Seno for being here as well. So, well, I think your first question, Hill, was, what motivates ECCP really to be involved in the circular economy. And well, ECCP is the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, and that the ECCP is the acronym for that organization. But really, we also use the same acronym for the main motivation of ECCP as far as its operations are concerned. And ECCP also means enhancing competitiveness and creating partnerships. A lot of the challenges, especially that it has to do, let's say, with the green economy, requires the involvement of everyone. Inclusivity is very important for for dealing with the circular economy. And what's important is markets demand sustainability, and to be successful in the market and to be profitable as well, you require sustainability in your operations. Allow me to just spend a few moments just to introduce ECCP. Well, we're the first European Chamber of Commerce in the world outside Europe, and also a member of the EBOWN, which is the European Business Organization's worldwide network. This is based in Brussels, and we were ECCP's founding member of this. This is an organization of more than 50 European chambers all over the world. And ECCP was actually established as a nonprofit organization in 1978, so we're 47 years old now. We have 5 offices in Makati, in Clark, in Cebu, Iloilo, Davao, and Cagayan de Oro. In Cebu, we have been there since 1991, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty long time, 34 years now, operating in Cebu. As a membership organization, we have close to 900 members, and we're focusing on advocacy work through our 24 sector committees. We have a network of more than 20,000 enterprises and organizations as far as collaboration is concerned. We are a professional service organization. We provide business consulting services, events management, training services, as well as project management. As a European chamber, we are the partner of the European delegation. We support EU development cooperation programs, and we implement EU-funded projects. We have been implementing EU-funded projects for the last 35 years. So in terms of the profile of our membership, these 10 sectors would provide an overview. And so we're very active in tourism, energy. Our members are active in tourism, energy, ICT, food, beverages, consultancy, healthcare, banking, infrastructure, agriculture, and outsourcing. And if you look at these sectors, you can just imagine the environmental impact of the activities of our members. For this reason, we have really, tried to align our programs, our advocacies in the fulfillment or support of the Sustainable Development Goals. And the way we support this is through our advocacy committees. And we have 24 advocacy committees, and it's growing basically every year. And these committees are chaired by our industry leaders from the membership, and they have the important role of really looking at the issues and challenges facing the sector, also the improving the policies and regulations that would have to be dealt with when it comes to strengthening EU-Philippines business partnership. So I've seen this graph this graph earlier, and I just want to say that as we are involved, very much involved in the sustainability goals, circular economy is very much a part of that. So just to give you an overview of some of the things we've been doing over the last 10, 15 years. So when we had this power shortages and all that, sometime in the in early 2010, we were really campaigning for more power plants until we have realized that there's also a need to manage energy consumption. And for that reason, as it is very difficult to get investors to get into building plants, power plants, we focused on promoting energy efficiency. So we organized the first Philippine Energy Efficiency Forum in 2010. Later, we renamed it to Energy Smart, as we wanted to integrate renewable energy in our advocacy. Water, also, as of course mentioned by a number of speakers already, very important resource, and it's clean water is hard to get or expensive to make as well. So the Water Challenge Forum is our platform for discussing issues and challenges regarding the water advocacy. Waste as well. We have a waste management forum that's being organized regularly, and of course this has to do mainly with the solid waste and managing these things to ensure that we can move more closer to a circular economy model. Extended producer, as we have responsibility, as we have many members, and also in the manufacturing industry, we saw the need also for getting them to understand what EPR requires and how EPR can be implemented in the operations of the companies. Put this all together, actually, we're looking at future cities. We're looking at smart and sustainable cities. And for that reason, we have done several events on the future cities over the last few years. And this integrates all the different initiatives, technologies that can build the future smart and sustainable cities. Last year, we also launched the Race to Zero, and that has to do with carbon emissions playing a role as far as building collective action among industries in the Philippines. And right now, we have this Climate Solutions Forum happening in Davao City. This is an event that's being organized, that was organized in partnership with the German Chamber. So, German Embassy. We support the EU as far as their programs are concerned, and as mentioned by Mylis, the GEPP is a major program being implemented now, also under the Global Gateway. Switch Asia is a long-running program, and we've been involved in many programs in the past, and we're happy to see that it's still very active to this day with the organization of this event. So as far as ECCP is concerned, we have started in the past promoting ISO 14000, which is focused on environmental management, certification and standards. Smart Cebu was our project that's totally focused on Cebu, particularly in three industries: furniture, gifts, toys and housewares, as well as the fashion accessories. There, we introduce resource efficiency, sustainable designing, sustainable packaging, and sustainable materials, use of sustainable materials.
Sorry, Jerry.
Yeah.
We have to conclude, yes.
All right. Okay. So just to mention that these are just some of the projects that we have launched to support the circular economy development program. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Well, you're a very matured advocacy institution, and you're definitely someone that everybody would need to deal with. Now, I apologize. We now have a very tight window for our second session. Essentially, we'd like to hear from you, but we can just give you 2 to 3 minutes. 3 questions. What is your top challenge that you're facing with in pushing your agenda, whether in the execution, legislative, you're in the regional collaboration, or as a business entity side? And how are you addressing it? And number two, how do you see collaboration with ACEBA as we move forward? So may I start with our newly elected Mayor Archibald, which I failed to congratulate, by the way. So Mayor, you're an engineer. You know, you have a very good grasp of your agenda, but your priority challenge, and how are you addressing it, and how do you see us moving together forward?
Mayor Nestor, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mayor. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Moving forward, there is already the program like installation of solar system at all the buildings, and what I need to do is just to have a contractor interested. So we need to bid this out. Okay, so the second one is street lights, which we're paying about 15 million pesos. What we're going to do is to make an ordinance for this, so that there would be no gaps, there would be no problems, there would be no questions. The moment there's an ordinance, then we will have to make an implementing rules and regulations (IRR), and then that would be straightforward already. So at the end of the day, in the next, I would expect in the next 6 months, then we will have at least out of the 15 buildings that we have, we might probably have 5 buildings already installed with solar. Now, for the street lightings, what we're going to do is just, again, we're going to make an ordinance. It will take probably another 3 to 6 months. And after that, within a year, hopefully, all the street lines would be solar powered already. The third one is the challenge on our what we call as a solid waste management. Again, we are spending about 600 million. Our problem is we are getting money from the different departments. So meaning to say, because garbage is, it's very visible. The moment there's garbage, then the mayor is, there would be a lot of people. What's the mayor doing? So the previous mayors is that they are forced to get the garbage, and they're forced to actually pay the garbage contractor. Now, my challenge is where to find the money. What we're going to do is to make an ordinance that will have to collect taxes for the polluters. Right now, we have a very lax what we call that as an ordinance. For houses, they're going only to pay 1 peso per year for all the house. Meaning to say, one house, you're going to pay 360 pesos per year. Now, in companies, we are not charging them fairly, because companies they pay 50,000 per year, but you can just imagine one truck of garbage daily. We're already spending 20,000 per day. So we need to craft an ordinance that would cater to the different, the different sectors of society, for 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 the for the houses, which are the voters. We might probably lesser tax, might be 2 pesos per year, or 2 pesos per day. That would be 720. But for the big businesses, we're going to charge them not very high, but we need to find the waste mainstream, their volume of garbage, so that we will know how to charge them.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Now,
Wonderful.
the other thing is the what we call as the plastics. We have a project which is a collaboration with JICA and SM. And in Cebu City, we have about 500,000 kilos of garbage. Then we have 20,000 kilos of plastic waste. Now, there is a program between and JICA and the what we call JICA is sponsoring this kind of program that there's a group from SM in a company in Japan that they collaborate. They're 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 making a sample project in pilot project in Barangay Luz, and then if this would be working, this would be successful, then they are going to go to the next
Great.
79 barangays. So they're
Okay.
reducing the garbage already from 10 tons to 7 tons a
Wonderful.
day, and that 3
Okay.
tons is being there's a company in I think in Naga, uh, the SM group and the company from Japan make a something like a small plant actually, and then they're going to build this out, and then they're going to sell this to the company in a cement company, and they are going to use this as fuel.
Okay.
Okay.
Apologies, Mayor, again. We need to wrap up.
1 second. So what we're trying to do is to do the best we can in order to find ways to reduce cost and thus reducing greenhouse gas.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mayor.
Mayor.
Such a
Such a
detailed
detailed
action
action
plan
plan
and
and
requires
requires
great
great
leadership.
leadership.
So
So we
we wish
wish
you
you
all the
all the
best,
best,
and
and
ACEBA is
ASEAN
here
here
to
to
provide you
provide
whatever
you whatever
assistance.
assistance.
Can we go to Councilor Joel, please?
Hello, hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. With respect to the first point, the challenge of actually of the city is changing the mindsets of our constituents. Because this is not an easy task. It requires a lot of revolutionary campaign to change mindsets. That's why we are aiming to start with the children. And The challenge is how to convince people, because the mindset, as we all know, that people have to see results right away. But advocating for the green building will take more than 20, 30 years for the benefit to come rushing in. And our challenge actually is not more on the financial aspect, but our challenge is more focused on the how to convince people to contribute to lessen at least the effects of the greenhouse emissions and the the greenhouse emissions, because the effects are not visible right now, but the effects could be uh, manifesting in the days or the years to come. So that's why our priority is to uh, do some more research, and perhaps what ACEBA can offer, we will try to maximize uh, the partnership that we will be forging for the betterment of the entire city. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor. Yeah, I agree. Winning the hearts and minds is something that everybody must have a role in. That's why ASEBA wanted to have this platform, to have all the actors and the champions to help in the massive advocacy work. Mylise, you're next, please.
Yes, thank you. So, I mean, for the challenges, I think I'm just gonna build on Mayor and Councilor answers. But as we've been working with the private sector in the Philippines and do a lot of studies, we noticed that really the market is quite fragmented. And even if we do see a momentum in the Philippines to shift towards green and circular economy, I would say that it's still the beginning, right? And that there's a lot of things to unlock and enable to make it happen. And I think these some of the examples are, businesses trying to understand what permits they need to acquire if they want to apply. There are some banks, leading banks in the Philippines that offer, green bonds or blue bonds, but sometimes companies can't reach it because they don't have the proper clearances. So there's still like a lot of gaps to bridge, I would say. And some of them sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, are just, finding the technologies. So we visited several regions And it was quite interesting because we would see a company that to enable circular economy in their businesses would need a certain technology that we saw on another island, but they wouldn't know each other, right? So I think, and also just exporting from one region to another is also challenging. So I think for the private sector, that's what we noticed. And so what we're trying to do is offer some, technical and finance and assistance and financial assistance to those actors through different levels. I mentioned some grants, some expertise. So helping also the helpers, the startup enablers in the country, trying to push the entrepreneurial ecosystem in circular economy and not only maybe tech solutions in general. And then overall, I think what Councillor Seno was saying is that it's a systematic change, right? So we have to change everything a bit at the same time. So consumers, businesses, policies. Mayor was mentioning like the ordinance needs the IRR. This is something that is needed. Like for example, MPR implementation, we are still working on implementing it in the Philippines. So those, I would say, are challenges that we have to continue to face. And I think the project, the Green Economy Partnership with the Philippines, is also trying to tackle, as you saw, all of those topics a little bit at the same time to push it forward. So I would say that's one of the key. And then working with ACEBA, obviously there's a lot of synergies in terms of creating that platform of like-minded actors who wants to bring a better environment for the Philippines. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Thank you very much, Mylis. So we look forward to seeing Cebu as one of your pilot cities, and maybe double and triple in the next few years. Okay, Jerry, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Hill. Well, I mean, I think the speakers are also like-minded, and I must say that we need to support the continuous awareness of all stakeholders, may it be business, communities, and even government, that greening is very beneficial to well, in the case of the private sector, to doing business. You can discover a lot of opportunities to not only to be more sustainable, not only to let's say improve your reputation or your branding, but also really in terms of building more margins that you can invest or that you can use for other purposes. Apart from that, really also with regard to technology and all that, there are many kinds of technologies available right now, and maybe like we have done in the past in some of the forums, we had a technical demonstrations of what present technologies can do. And that has to do, as Mylis said, making connections possible, bridging the gap between the users and the technology providers. As mentioned also by Mayor Archibald and the councillor, ordinances are very important. They are there to encourage, to motivate, as well as to watch those that are lagging behind. So basically, ordinances needs to be continuously developed, updated, so that we can really give a good push to all stakeholders to move in the direction of a circular economy. Bottom line also, as we have seen in past experiences dealing with companies, finance is important. And of course, if you borrow money, typically you need collateral. And for most companies, this shift to a greener operations is seen as an expense more than an investment. And so green financing in particular, is very important. And we had a very good example in the past where IFC provided guarantees for green financing so that no collateral can be achieved. We have also plenty of ESCOs in place or established that could support and help in this funding requirement. That's all. Thank you, Hill.
Thank you very much. Well, this has been a very inspiring panel. We could go on for another 2 hours, but unfortunately, we're so limited. But you see a lot of elements, a lot of alignment to all of you, from all of you, and where we see end of the day is making a difference, and sustainability, circular economy is not just changing of the way we do things and so on, but precisely it makes economic sense to go into this new culture on how we undertake our businesses. And of course, now the question is, how do we even sustain our collaboration? In fact, that's the next challenge, and we'll definitely have to be more specifics because we're not starting from zero. That's the most delightful fact that we know today, that we're simply building on experiences, expertise, and the passion of all of you here in the panel and much more. So we look forward to engaging you, more engagement. This will be the first of many. So thank you very much, and please thank you to all our panelists, and turn over back to you, Grace. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
Jay.
Hill, and to our 4 panelists. For panel 1, again, a very engaging conversation. Let's move on to panel 2. We're going a bit over time, so let's move on to the next panel. This is an experienced business sharing with 2 enterprises from Cebu. So our panelist for this second panel is Engineer Pedro Delantar, who's the founder and president of Nature's Legacy Ex-Import, and Ms. Jamie Naval, Circularity Manager of Anthill Fabric Gallery. This panel will be moderated by Dr. Renee Van Berkel. Go ahead, Renee.
Yes, thank you very much, and apologies that earlier this is the seminar I got dropped out for the internet connection. So technology is nice if it works, but let's try to take up and for the lost time. So Pedro, may I ask you first to give a little bit of an impression of what kind of circularity initiatives you've done with your company, with Nature's Legacy, and what has been the impact on the environment, on your business, and maybe the engagement of the stakeholders. So maybe in the next 5 minutes, you could share the key points. The floor is yours.
Yes, good
Pedro.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and to the people attending online on other parts of the world. Good afternoon, maayong hapon. So the Visayas, and magandang hapon to the Tagalog. Is my audio good? Is there any sound behind me that you can hear?
You're clear, Engineer. Please. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to do an introduction of our company. We are a 39 years old company. We were established in 1986 as a single proprietorship company, which later on in 1996 became a corporation due to changing business climates and request for a more bankable structure, so to speak. So in 1996, we started a furniture company, and then evolved to looking for other resources, because the resources in Cebu is quite limited. Limited in the sense that Cebu has no resources at all, or very limited. We don't have agriculture, we don't have forests. Most of our raw material comes from the other islands, neighboring islands, and also as far as Mindanao. But looking at the industry where we are in the export industry, and we are so challenged because we have the skills, we have the talents, but we don't have the raw materials. So what did we do to address this problem? First, we look at on what are in our surroundings, and then looks what is inside us in our facility. So I'll talk about the ones that is around us. So in one of the days when we were cleaning our facility, we were able to keep some trash of fallen twigs and shrubs around us, because we are located in the countryside. And these mounds of waste are normally burned. In a traditional way, they're burned. But a sudden light struck us, me and my wife, Kathy, my partner. We turned this waste into a resource. So thus we were able to discover a new material which took us about 10 years to perfect before we launched it in Germany in 2003. So the rest was history for that. We did not realize that it was the first entry to doing green products. During the time in 2003, there was not much green products in the world. People were asking so many questions about, oh, what are we doing? Is it real, or it's just something that is temporary and it's just a trend? But to prove them wrong, we went on and developed further the products. And until now, the materials that we have used, it became a brand. It's called Nature's Cast. And Nature's Cast has evolved greatly from a very simple product into multiple applications for buildings. And lately, we are looking at the car industry. So this has evolved, meaning to say the invention does not stay on the state of where they are at the original state, but it must go forward to make it more interesting and more viable, and being able to help so many people and communities around us, as well as businesses all over the world. But we did not stop from there. We also looked inside. Inside, because we were blessed with so many orders, we are also producing a lot of waste in our packaging because we make our own packaging materials. We buy the boards, make it in our factory, because the box making organization or factories, they cannot accept orders less than 300. We must order 5,000, 3,000, and the only way to do that is to make our own boxes. So we make our own boxes, but now we are suffering with so many excess material. So, but we did not stop from there. We look at it, are we going to keep on piling all this waste? And it's hazardous, it's prone to fire. Then another light struck us. Why won't we turn them into products? So Nucas became the next winner. So Nucas, I think, is our new star. Is our new, ibig sabihin, sikat na product. Because it is the only product we have that has a circular loop. It's a closed loop system that what we use, what we discard, we reuse them and make them into another product. And to our surprise, it has so many applications that we cannot imagine. It's our buyers that are telling us, can you do this? Can you mimic this? Can you extend this? Can you apply it here? So it's still, we think, in the infancy state. So there's still a lot of things to do. Now, looking at our slide, Thomas, from our introduction, Elaine, can you take over and see the first slide? Can you see the green slide? It says Nature's Legacy. Hello?
Yes,
Grace?
we can see it po. We can see it.
Yeah. You can see our tagline, which is makers of sustainable and innovative materials. So this is the product of our rebranding in 2019, because we have to evolve. We have to make sure that our brand is consistent to what we do. So we started a rebranding and went into a rigorous certification process with certifying organization in other parts of the world. And we were able to get the certification for B Corp and also the Green Leaf, as well as the German certification for C2C. We're the only company in Asia that got 2 certifications for C2C. Certification Platinum for health and Gold for safety. So moving on, with all those development, with all those innovation and invention, by the way, anything that we produce, we always apply for an IP, intellectual property, because we believe that innovation should be protected and should be also shared later on after its commercialization. You know, you need to scale up. But with all this innovation that we have, we stay anchored on our 3 brand pillars, which is material innovation. It's the number 1. Next slide, Elaine. And 360 sustainability.
Can you wrap up in the next minute?
Yes, I can. So
Okay.
Our slide is self-explanatory, and I'll just go on to the next slide, Elaine, which it shows the application of the products. So you can see Nature's Gas is applied for many other things, exterior, interior, acoustics, and Nucas is applied also for building materials. So Nature's Legacy is, if you can see the diagram, there is a purpose-driven circular by design by the using of Nature's Gas and Nucas. You can see the raw materials goes in a loop from raw materials, design, raw materials, manufacturing, and use, and it goes back again to be recycled. To sum up, the company has a commitment for circular economy. We look within our operation for a closed loop or open loop recycling. For growth and support, collaboration of our government agency, we look at the other agencies like CITEM, DTI, and DOST for collaboration and also for promotion. So why it matters? Because it reduces waste, preserves resources, lowers emission, create innovative materials and products, and create jobs, especially to the marginalized individuals. So I think I will end my presentation since I have no more time. This is just the beginning. Although we are already almost 40 years in business, it does not stop here. The next chapter is still to come. Abangan. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Pedro, for a very interesting storyline, which started with from necessity, so lack of raw materials, and then gradually innovated your company, and now being a sustainability brand-driven, circularity-driven with biomaterials and recycled materials. So very interesting story, and also success story of getting into markets and seeing also markets expanding. So thank you very much for that. In the interest of time, I will first go to the other panelists and maybe come back. So Jamie Naval from Anthill Fabric Gallery, may you introduce what Anthill is doing in terms of fabric recycling? So the floor is yours for the next 5 minutes or so, Jamie.
Thank you so much.
Jamie?
Of Anthill. Can you see me?
Yes, Jamie, go ahead, but you're a bit laggy. Hello, can you hear us,
I'll
Jamie?
turn off my video for a moment.
Okay, no worries, go ahead.
Is this better? Yes.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay. Yeah, so Anthill are based in Cebu, and we are now 15 years old. Anthill celebrates and elevates Filipino culture through contemporary and circular design. We work with various weaving and artisan communities from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, where we work with 750 artisans and impacting 3,750 lives and counting. For us, every weave is like a second skin, so it's important for us that we don't waste them. Because we don't want to add to the total amount of waste that we generate yearly in the Philippines, which is about 427 Olympic-sized pools. So literally, we are swimming in waste. For Anthill, sustainability is about responsible resource use, ensuring that both our cultural heritage are safeguarded for the next generation. First solution in Anthill is weaving waste. Here, part of what we do is that we work with post-industrial textile waste and post-consumer textile waste. In our zero waste weaving process, it's called community call for fabric scraps, where we collaborate with kind, color, and size, cutting them into strips, and then delivering them to the communities meticulously textile scraps. Aside from the fabrics, we also produce different products such as fashion pieces like this, and this. Through our work with weaving textiles, we are is the average income of our partners additional activities by 85%. We've already upside 24,000. We have a circular model where we extend by reintegrating them into the production process as a resource. Aside from zero waste fabrics, we also have zero waste programs that includes exchange and reweave. We really love anthill pieces into the anthill market. We also do rework, giving new life to garments with projects. And every time you buy an anthill piece, we provide free repair forever on each piece. Extending the commitment of Anthill to circularity, we are currently the first bank eco-weavers program implementing partner. We recently bring our as recent bar to share circular and build capacity in the green CTLU and Maybank Foundation, where we will reclaim, recycle, and reimagine. So, in reclaiming, we'll divert them from the
I think we have a connection problem, unfortunately, because the anthill story is really interesting. I was really going to say that it really shows also the connection between wanting to be circular and recycle fabrics, and also being a social innovation, social enterprise that adds to the cultivation of or conservation of the traditional weaving skills. And there, let me see, is Jamie back?
Yes, I'm
Hello.
back. Yeah.
Hi.
So
Yes.
yeah. So aside from recycling fabrics into new products, we also work with different hotels where we upcycle their linen towels as well into corporate giveaways and other products as well. And lastly, we reimagine textiles by providing sustainable manufacturing where we create sustainable products and solutions for your eco-business needs. Maraming salamat and thank you for weaving dreams with us.
Thank you very much, Jamie. And I think we had a little bit of a connection problem, but the pictures which you showed were very informative, and the message also. I think it's a very interesting examples of how you connect the circularity with the social enterprise and the social developments which you are supporting in terms of cultivating and conserving the traditional weaving skills, providing job opportunities for communities, and then also connecting that with the circular economy. I'm going to switch roles a little bit and also share some of the examples, because earlier on Thomas shared in my absence some of the work of ACEBA. I just wanted to check whether you can see my presentation or not.
Yes, Renee, we can see it.
Okay, and it's yes. So I just wanted to mention that we've spoken about circular economy as creating circular value chain, which is depicted here. And then what Thomas was highlighting, the resource management strategy. So circularity, closing material cycles, efficiency, using things longer and more efficiently, and substitution going to renewables. Thomas mentioned then that that we have the business cases, and the link is here, and we can share it also in the maybe in the chat box, where we have 14 examples from the Philippines, and I just wanted to give an impression of those. So here are two were mentioned by Thomas, but the other 12 are here. So we have Axel Integrated Farm, which is about coconut production using better agriculture practices with water analysis, intercropping, with taro and sweet potato, and product diversification with the previously discarded byproducts to create which peacock harvesting and processing, controlled drying of it, so that it could produce a better quality product, so making with a short length grass. It can be done in bags and the non-traditional product. Then Cemex is similar in the sense of producing low carbon blended cements with fly ash and other cementitious materials, and using organic waste from cities as alternative fuel. Then next one is ICT Converge, which basically takes back some customer premise equipment, modems, cables, and etc. for testing and
Hello, Thomas. I think Renee is cut off again.
Okay. Let me try to help him. Can you see the slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I think he was talking about the coconuts and the agriculture. I will just, while waiting for him, I'll just substitute.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think with time really running out, I will just go straight into the summary because there are some questions already. So I just use, these are just companies, the Echo Stalls, is also organic coffee planting, soil reconditioning, and we also have Philux, which is timeless design craftsmanship of limited upholsteries, and Pico Sands Hotel, and things where we talk about comprehensive food waste reduction methods, back of the house services. You can see all kinds of, and here is precious plastics, which develops supply of low cost, small scale appropriate mechanical equipment for plastics and things. So it's a very grassroots organization. Then you have recycle style, and okay, this is just some of the 40s. Basically, why did companies get involved? The first answer was cost savings. The other one is on business opportunity, and that they think change is inevitable. And basically, all of this has three things involved. It's issue of risk management, being resilient to the sustainability of the business in times of change. This is something that works. And the other one is about value creation, the agility to develop and grow business, and there is a strategic advantage. So these are the reasons why Filipino companies, as well as the other 65 cases that we studied, showed. And it again comes up on what appears to drive success. I think in my opening remarks, I talked about purpose. Companies must have magnetic north. What is your true purpose of your business, and having an understanding of the big picture and its link, and therefore make contributions, whether it's responsible business or not. Just give me a second. Okay. The other one is okay. The other one is about innovation view, and I think all the business examples, two business examples and other, you find that they have to be creative, innovate, and keep innovating at the same time. And finally, also about knowledge, and you will have to base on formal, tacit, even traditional knowledge skills has all come in. And we look at the two examples and the other examples that if we come up very clearly. So finally, it's about entrepreneurship. you need the competence to turn a business idea or an opportunity into a successful business venture. A business venture, you will have to be competent, to meeting the purpose, running technically and operationalizing it. These are some of the these things that makes appear to drive success. And these are the assets to deal with the challenges of technology, financing, markets, knowledge, etc. So finally, I want to say that this is exactly how we have a few examples. Please, we have put in the link to these business cases, and I'm sure you will really get involved and contribute to your own ideas. I think our purpose is that the ideas here will give you more ideas, and you can build on these successes. Just since we have just 3 minutes, I think one of the questions I'd like to ask both Petro and Jamie is whether you could just same thing as what Gil asked the earlier panel. What are your key challenges in your success, whether it's social, political, technical operations, that in transiting to circular economy? What have been your key challenges, and what advice can you give us in addressing these challenges? So maybe I'll ask Petro first.
Yes, thank you, Thomas, for a very wonderful question. And those challenges we face every day, in the business landscape in the Philippines. We have to be very creative in managing our business, navigating our encounters every day. Every day is a different day. Today you have a problem with supply. The next day you have a problem with transportation. But at the end of the day, it's all given. You have to live with it, find a solution, and then make sure that the next time it comes around, you already have the experience and know-how how to manage those kinds of problems. So it's a never-ending problem, but somehow we were able to go through it, and we are almost 40 years, so we survived. I don't know how we did it, but somehow there's some divine intervention. Thank you.
Thank you. When you say there's always problems, I always remember a small famous quote by Jawaharlal Nehru when the Prime Minister, he said, whenever you solve a problem, there will be new problems created. But the thing is that the new problems are less of a problem than the old problem that you solve it. And you have to constantly solve problems. Jamie, what is your key challenge from you and your lessons?
For Anthill, most of our challenge comes from communicating with our partners and also stakeholders. And one of them is letting them know that recycling should not be the last resort, but circularity should start in design and production as well. One of the things that we continuously communicate is that we are not just a recycling facility, but recycling for us is a service. And when they give us the fabrics, it's not a donation for us, but we are actually giving them a service. And when they give the fabrics, they don't just magically disappear, but we must work together to put these fabrics back into the market or to reintegrate them in the circular model as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I must thank you very much and apologize for all these technical issues that we had, but that's like we have to improvise and go along the way. I'm sorry, they got such a great content. There's a lot more things that I would want to know from Petro and Jamie. I'm sorry, but I think the key lessons you learn is that you're very clear of what is your true north. It is not recycling, it's innovation, it is idealization and going on. And then as you go, you learn by doing, and you are not overwhelmed by the difficulties, but you just plunge in, keep going, and solve problems as you go. So improvisation has always been a credit as well. And within the context of value-driven mission. I would therefore, knowing it's already 5 o'clock and everybody has other things, Zinaida, can you please take over and do the closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you, colleagues, and I hope that internet doesn't give up on me. So despite a few internet hiccups today, which were unusually frequent, we had a truly uplifting and engaging conversation full of energy, ideas, shared commitments to advance circular economy in Cebu and also beyond. So colleagues, or rather friends, as we close today ACEBA Philippines webinar, I would like to thank you all for your active participation on this very timely, I would say urgent and important discussion on advancing circular economy in Cebu and in the whole of Philippines, which is also inspirational for the whole of Southeast Asia region. We've seen today how Cebu is not just responding to the global sustainability movement, it is actively leading. And from policy innovations in both Cebu City and Mandalay City, to the Cebu Chamber's tireless work of its members, Cebu is really showing how circularity can be translated into practical local solutions through the actions of the municipality, businesses, and other organizations. And what is specifically notable, at least for me today, is how Cebu is connecting material use with climate actions by promoting resource efficiency, low carbon energy, and circular design. And importantly, this leadership is clear in the building and construction sector, where gains in both material savings and emission reduction are really practically significant. So we also heard today from Honorable Councillor Joy Seno, representing the mayor of Mandalay City, on how the city is greening its rapid urbanization. And this is really, really where the major potential is through sustainable building codes, water resource conservations, and also emissions management. And this is an inspiring example of local innovation aligned with truly global sustainability goals. The European Union, of course, has long championing circular economy as part of the Green Deal and international cooperation. And Switch Asia is one of the EU flagship programs in the region, and we are focusing on sustainable consumption and production in circular economy, and we are implementing this agenda along other key initiatives such as the Green Economy Partnership Philippines, led by Expertise France. Mylis is with us today, and it is really truly supported by the EU delegations to the Philippines. Mylis has been talking about this today, and it is of course a great pleasure to have with us today the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, represented by Jerry. This is indeed an organization with long-standing experience in building sustainability partnership between EU and Philippine businesses, and your contribution across sectors and the regions helps bring the policy to practice bridge to life. And Jill, you particularly were to the point saying that whatever we do in circular economy area, your organization is the one to be in strong partnership with. So together with our partners, including the Expertise of France and CCP, we look forward to continuing collaboration through Switch Asia and ACEBA, supporting the practical implementation of circular economy policies on the ground. This includes providing technical support, fostering partnerships, and equally actively engaging local government units, the private sector, and the civil society. And to conclude this webinar on behalf of ACEBA, CCCI, and Switch Asia, I would like to thank you all who joined us today, especially our speakers and panelists. Warm thanks to our ACEBA co-conveners, Jill, Thomas, and Renee, for your strong and steady leadership, and to Cebu Chamber and its partners, thank you for your vision, for your action and leading ACEBA in the Philippines based on very, very solid foundation. So it was emphasized several times over today. To Honorable Mayor Ernesto Archibald, your personal commitments to leaving green and advanced energy efficiency and renewable as climate action is commendable and deeply appreciated. We also extend our gratitude to Jamie Naval and Archil Fabric Gallery and engineer Pedro of Nature's Legacy Export for presenting your business, which showcase your commitment to sustainability, innovation, and also, very importantly, inclusive business practices supporting the circular economy transition. Thank you all once again for your patience, participation, and positivity, even with occasional connectivity challenges, and for making this a meaningful and inspiring example. Maramang Salamat and good afternoon to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr.
Keep in
Zelena.
touch.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank
thank
you.
you to
Bye.
everyone.
Okay. Have a
And
Thank you
nice
very
day.
much,
with
Councillor.
that, we close the
Thank you,
webinar.
colleagues.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Thomas, Miss Grace,
Thank
Miss
you.
Lorraine.
Thank you,
Mr.
Lorraine.
Baker.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
Councillor
you,
View.
Councillor
Keep in touch
Joel.
with you and the Mayor.
We'll
Thank
keep
you.
in touch po. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very happy that both from the city of Cebu and the Mandaue City were able to make it. And of course, VP Aldi. So, salamat kaayo. Salamat gyud.
Thank
Salamat.
you. Thank you,
Okay,
Miss Joy.
bye-bye. Thank you, Miss Lorraine, Mr. Rene. Thank you, Sir Thomas, and Miss Grace. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.